I'm gonna quickly brief you on Fireteam. I know some of you haven't been to the Fireteam operations course, so I'm gonna go over that pretty quick. Then I'm gonna tell you the exact SOPs for Platoon Ops, because we're gonna be having some SOPs here, so we don't have to figure that out every time we start a game, how we're gonna do it. Cool. I assume that's yes. Okay. So as you know, Fireteam is the lowest level group within a squad and within any unit at all. It's the smallest level you can be, and where you can still effectively engage an enemy through your force of arms and violence of action. It consists of all the assets necessary to accomplish many variations of tasks, and it's not limited to one standard as the situation will dictate. Whatever. So you're composed 4 members: team leader, grenadier, automatic rifleman, and the normal rifleman. And as team leader, you're the lowest level of leadership within a platoon. It's the role that and where you have to do the most amount of individual supervision, and you participate in the fight just as any other member of your team at the same time. So your focus is not squad level maneuver, but instead employment of arms within your fire team. So you focus on how to most effectively employ your guys in a fire team. So team members, you need to do what the team leader says to you. And team leaders, you need to tell your people what to do. If you just say 360, it's not necessarily going to happen the way you want it to. So you have to say, I want 360, I want AR facing on northeast, I want the grenadier facing that way, and I want rifleman facing that way. Otherwise, shit ain't gonna happen as you want it to, so you have to take control of your team. Secondly, in the team, you have the AR. AR is your primary suppression role in the fire team. He carries the squad automatic rifle, and he's capable of putting a large volume of fire in a short time out. He accounts for 40% of the team's firepower through having that weapon, and he should be one of the smarter guys in the fire team, since he should know where that weapon should be employed in order to most effectively suppress the enemy and ensure that they can't move from their position without getting a bullet in their ass. That's his job, and he has to give the enemy a sense that they're gonna die if they move from cover. And enter the grenadier, because once that's happening, once the enemy is hiding in cover, afraid of getting shot by the AR, then the grenadier comes in and starts using his area of effect weapon, the M203 or similar arm, where he actually fires rockets or fucking grenades on different targets that he can identify, either by destroying that cover or hitting right next to the cover, therefore destroying the enemy behind his cover. And finally, we have the rifleman, and the rifleman is a variable man. He should be able to do pretty much anything, and that means he, in combat, since he only has rifle, he's used to target individuals. So while the AR and the grenadier are focusing on groups or teams, then the rifleman is focusing on team leaders, guys with antennas, people with the rockets or grenade launchers or machine guns or whatever. And he should also be told what his priorities are, if possible. If not, he will say, I will target leaders. Since he only carries a rifle, he should always be mindful, how can I support my team? And the team leader should tell him what kind of task you're doing, so he knows, okay, I should bring explosives, I should bring AT, I should bring something extra, more ammo for the AR, whatever. And the team leader should also tell him that, so we have so he can help his team out by carrying the stuff that the grenadier and the AR can't carry because they're bogged down on ammo. So he can either carry extra ammo or extra equipment of some sort. Any questions on the roles in the fire team? Okay, take that as a no. Then we have the body teams, and the body teams always been a huge point of discussion. And now I won't pretend I have the final solution, but I have the solution I like and what we're going to be using in Platoon Ops. And that is, of course, we have 2 body teams, and the reason we have body teams is so we can do maneuvers within our fire team, also known as rushes, where we maneuver and still have support by fire within the fire team. The first body team is the team leader and the grenadier. They should stay together because the reasoning for that is the team leader can then more easily tell the grenadier what targets he wants to engage with the 203, and he has a buddy that that can cover him more easily. And then body 2 is the automatic rifleman and the rifleman, and the reasoning for that is the rifleman can easily cover the automatic rifleman if he's out of action, and he can carry. He's more likely to be carrying extra ammo for the AR anyway, so you might as well be with him. So the idea is, whenever you do an order of march, you don't have to tell everyone. You don't have to tell people exactly where to be individually unless you want to. You can just say, I want body 1 on front, body 2 on the rear, as a team lead. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice and easy.
Yep.
One sec, guys. Ah, fuck this. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so there were no questions on how the body teams are going to be in this formation. Wait. Okay, so now we're going to quickly move to phase 2, that's formations and order of march. And you should all know these formations. These are fireteam level formations. So we're not going to practice them, I'm just going to go over them real quick, and guys are going to say if you're not sure exactly how they work. And I will post a lesson plan on the end of this where you can see them again. First up, we have Fireteam Wedge. That is the US doctrine favorite fireteam formation, and I would have to agree with them. It's pretty useful formation. It has its faults, but it's actually pretty useful. What's good for is it's a standard team formation. It's good firepower to the front and to flanks, and it's fucking easy to control. It's essentially just the team leader saying, I want Fireteam Wedge, heavy left, and then the AR and the body 2 team, the AR and the rifleman get on his left flank, Grenadier get on his right flank. Pretty fucking standard, and pretty fucking fast. And when the team leader changes direction, they can see the change of direction and follow that change pretty easily. Next up is to file. Also pretty standard formation. You want to use that in this terrain where for some reason you can't easily form a line formation or wedge formation. So either in dense forest, if there's mine threats, or even if you're expecting contacts to the flank, then you can use that. The problem with it is vulnerable to the front and rear because you only have one guy who can fire forward when you start on that formation. But then again, you get good firepower to the side, and you have a formation again that's easy to control because it's essentially just follow the team leader, and then you just walk in his footsteps. You have line. Also, we all know this, right? And fireteam line is again fireteam leader just calling line, and then the Grenadier getting on his left flank, and the AR and rifleman getting on his right flank. You want to remember that you always stick with your buddy teams, and you want to keep the fireteam leader somewhat in the middle. So that always means that the AR is on the exposed side of or the Grenadier is on the exposed side of the fireteam leader, and the AR is on the other side. Fireteam line is, remember, it's good to when you expect contact front. It's vulnerable to the sides. Again, you only have 2 guys who can actually fire to the side. You have good firepower front. On the other hand, it's hard to control a fireteam line, and we all know this because you've probably seen it happen a bajillion times that people can't follow these fucking lines. An important point I want to say real quick: if we're doing line, then if you are not in place in line, then don't walk and expect people to stop. Then just run back into position and then keep walking according to position. Don't wait. Expect people to wait for you. Okay. The rest of the formations, I'm just going to mention them real quick. There's staggered column. You know this. It's good for if you're not really sure to expect contact front or rear or flank, then you can use that. It's good for urban combat. It's good for moving along roads because you can get fire on. You can have everyone fire to every direction pretty much, since you can fire past each other in the formation. So it's really good for urban combat when you have buildings on either side of you. You have to maybe fire over each other, whatever. That's what it's good for. It exists on both Fireteam and squad level, of course. Yes, that's it. And then we have the Fireteam echelons, which you know is essentially, it's pretty much a V where you just take one of the teams and move, or one of the guys and move back on his position. So you have most of the firepower facing front left or front right. So that's usually not as good for single fire teams to use unless you're certain that you're going to be engaged from one of the sides, especially since it's hard to maintain the formation. But it's good to use for if you're in a squad, then the squad maybe have a squad line, and then the fire teams on echelons. So you're essentially making a wedge, but you always remember that the fire teams are separate units from the squad. So while the squad is somewhat coherent, the squad should always be individual team tasks. It shouldn't be like we see in Canadian doctrine, where you want to keep the section together and the smallest units possible in the section. A squad is actually a squad leader tasking each team with what he wants to happen.
Hello guys.
What's up?
What's up, goddamn? You're Pavel, did you get killed?
You're disrupting a lesson, Adam.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Okay. So, lastly, final two formations, I'm boring you right now, is the Fireteam V, where you have the opposite of wedge. Pretty standard. You always just call I want a heavy right or heavy left V, and you use this either if you expect to be engaged from the rear, so you can move fast and still be ready to put fire to your rear if the enemy is engaging you. It's good for breaking contacts, for instance. We're going to go over this later. And it's good for if you're doing a route clearance and you want to check for IEDs, you can actually use a wedge or V formation, and then have the team go on the sides of the road and the team lead out the middle, so they look for wires and shit like that, and the team leader walks around looking for ground signs and make sure the team is in position still. Final formation is the diamond formation. Good formation for if you're a fire team alone and you don't know where to expect contact from, then you can use a diamond formation. And I assume you all know how these look, so we're not going to go over that unless you want me to. But it's good because it's easy to control. You have 360 security. Problem is, as Sun Tzu said, if you're defending everything, you're not really defending anything. So you only have two guys who can engage in either direction, and then you'd need to maneuver the rest of the team onto the contact. So it's only really useful if you can't at all anticipate where the enemy will come from. Like if you're doing a SOCOM and you're moving through enemy territory, you can't really anticipate where the enemy will come from, so you'll have to just have constant 360 security while moving. Okay, any questions on formations?
Nope.
Okay, that was a boring lesson, sorry about that. Hope I didn't lose all of you back there. Now we're going to go to communicating contacts, and I always make a large deal of this, and especially team leaders and squad leaders really need to be good at communicating contacts, because we're aiming for this to become a platoon thing where we can actually form platoons and use this, and you want to be able to communicate as a platoon, and one of the most essential things there is communicating contacts, because if that doesn't happen, then the squad, if you don't tell your team leader what your contact is, he doesn't know. If he doesn't know, he can't tell the squad lead. If the squad lead doesn't know, he can't tell the platoon leader. And if the platoon leader doesn't know, no one's helping you. You're not going to get any help, because the platoon leader doesn't know what he's getting into, and he's not going to blindly commit squads to a combat situation. So what you want to do and always identify is where is the contact, how far away are they, and what type are they? Are they infantry, are they tanks, or whatever, and how many? So we can easily form a picture. So you could like say contact right middle, light infantry fire team, Because if you can tell your team leader that, he can tell that to the squad lead, and then the squad leader can say, "Fuck it, that's just a fire team. We're fucking squad rushing that," and then the platoon doesn't have to act on it. But if you instead say, "Okay, that's at least a squad out there. Okay, then we need to get the platoon on it." Make sense?
Yep.
So I'm just gonna tell you the format for this real quick, and then we can work on it. First off, as soon as you either see enemies or you hear of enemy or you hear enemy gunfire or anything, you call contact. You just say that as soon as you hear anything that might be hostile. Contact. And that lets everyone know, okay, shit, enemies nearby. And then you add information based on how much you know. So if you, for instance, you get shot and you can hear the gunfire is coming from your left, and you say contact left, and then people know to get down and point their guns to the left. Or contact right, front, rear. And this allows your team to actually react to what's going on if they didn't hear the gunfire or didn't identify the direction. So that's a tool. We're helping each other. Anyone should be able to figure out where the fire is coming from, but if we help each other, it happens faster. Once you call out contact, then you want to give a direction or a bearing as accurate as possible within reason. So that could be contact left. That's okay. If you can give contact 360, okay, that's excellent. Then we pretty much know exactly where they are. Or if you just give contact north, that's also good. Just as accurate as you can without wasting time communicating it. So if you only know they're somewhat to the north, then okay, contact north. That's better than nothing. Then, if you can, identify the range, and then just use these easy pro words: far, middle, and near. And near being within 200 meters, middle being between 200 and 600 meters, and far being beyond 600 meters. So that's pretty easy. You just say contact north, far. That means that to the north they're more than 600 meters away. That's nice and easy and fast way of communicating. And then you go type of target and number of targets. So, for instance, enemy fire team, enemy squad, enemy tank, whatever. So I'm gonna really be after you on this when you get out on your ranges today. I'm gonna be telling you, you guys fucked up your contact reports. You guys didn't communicate properly with each other, that there were contacts, and the team leader wasn't aware of the amount of contacts. If that doesn't happen, then I'm gonna be after you on that, because that's the most important point you want to communicate. Then comes other communications while we get in action. Usually I do an exercise with this. Do you feel like you want to do an exercise where you get to practice communicating these, or do you want to move on?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to be placing some targets here at the airport, and then we're just going to go and walk around, and then you then you call out contacts as you see them. They're just going to be firing range targets. And this could be
Pablo, I think you got 2 automatic riflemen right now. Do you want me to grab something else, like grenadier?
Let's do a quick reorganization. Yeah. It's let's quickly do Fireteam 1, me, Dav, yeah, and then Kingslayer and Chapel.
I'm out for today.
And Fireteam 2. What? Who?
Yeah. Disaster. I'm out for today.
Okay. And then Fireteam 2, Whiplash, Tazel, Pavo.
Okay, guys. Once you got reorged, then meet me at the entrance to the hangar.
What am I then? Is Whiplash the fire team leader, or who's the fire team leader?
You are.
You are.
Whiplash, can you? Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's Fireteam 1 quickly meet up.
I'm
here,
your
so I can
automatic
make sure you
weatherman.
guys all have
Alright, cool. Whiplash, you have a
I
grenadier,
got
right?
my iron sights.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, we got
Cool.
a rifleman, got a grenadier, and we got an ultimate rifleman. Perfect.
I have Kingslayer. I have 2 boxes for you, 200 rounds.
Okay.
I gotta take a piss, guys, so I'll be back like less than 30 CRs.
Sierras? What the hell?
Seconds.
Yeah, no, I mean Sierras. I mean, what is this, Call of Duty?
It happens. Yep.
Alright, have a good practice, guys. Vi snakkes ved godt hen.
Ja, vi ses.
Back.
If this was real life military, I would actually be giving you points for how fast you could give accurate reports as we move here.
Do what?
I would fucking have notepad and I'll fucking grade each team on who can give most accurate messages, but we're short on time, so we're just gonna be doing this, and then I would actually like if you guys tell each other if you fuck up, if you miss, either if you miss something or if you give an annoying order, like first saying infantry 200 meters northeast, because that's just annoying. You rather want northeast, okay, I can face that direction, 200 meters, oh, that far. Fucking tank. Oh, yeah, I see it. Instead of having tank, okay, where? 200 meters, yeah. Northeast, oh, behind me, sure.
I'm Kingslayer, I'm carrying 300 rounds for you.
You know, I was an instant instructor once, and my job was, the recruits were supposed to do the exactly opposite that I was doing. Pretty basic for me.
Okay, Bravo, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, then come out here.
Are we supposed to react to contact, by the way, or just
No, just call them out. When you see a targeting practice target, then call out.
Fireteam 1, just call them on.
Roger that.
Contact 280, enemy infantry far.
Any mistake there, guys?
Maybe direction first.
Where are they? 280?
Easy.
I'd say medium. It's not
That's
really...
far. Those are fucking far.
I'll tell you right now, there's nothing that's far away, because that's 600 meters and this
Contact
airfield is
south,
only 400 across.
200 meters infantry.
Yeah.
I can't see them without zooming in, so I would consider it to be far, but that's just me.
Far is 600 meters, which is where your rifle would pretty much be useless. Well, where your rifle
yeah.
couldn't really do much.
Yeah, that's how we define it. It's by the fucking reach of the weapon.
So it's medium
Contact
range then?
335 enemy infantry. No,
Yep.
near. My bad.
Let's keep moving.
Let's move.
Contact left, close.
Contact rear.
Infantry. Yeah, God hand.
Yeah.
For that contact to the left, I don't really need to say a bearing, do I? Right in front of us.
As
We would
I
have...
said, you don't have to call bearings, you just have to say what's
Contact right.
If it's reasonable,
Close.
just say left, then it's fine.
Again, I don't need a bearing. It's pretty close.
Contact
to it.
right for infantry.
Contact rear, north.
the contact right, again, I'm not sure if that's far, I don't think so. That can't be more than 300 or 400 meters. So that's still me. Oh, wait.
Guys,
Wow, we're intermingling fire teams here.
Guys, back.
You might want to turn your auto.
I think we're moving back.
Yeah, Pebble, yeah, on guard end.
Just turn your echo off.
yeah, both ends. This is just a real quick exercise, so you guys got a feel for it. You got to say contact so much, and that's the important part, because I usually get in real life that you tell people what they're supposed to be saying, but when they get out there, they simply fuck up and stand, contact, right 260. So it's just an easy way to practice this. But yeah, as we talked about, it's reasonable levels of accuracy. So, for instance, if they're within 50 meters, then you just call contact left near contact left near infantry. That's as easy as it can be. Or if they're far away, like 600 meters, if they're up on the fucking hill over there, then you might want to get out a bearing or even mills if you can, so you can get some accurate information for people. But it's within reasonable levels of accuracy, and I actually think you guys know what that is. So if you can give a bearing on a contact that's middle away, that's fine. But if you don't, then just give a rough estimate of the cardinal direction, or give left or right. That makes it easier. If you have problems pointing it out, then you might want to give an indication, and that's just saying, for instance, you're saying contact right near enemy infantry by the fucking what's it called, flight control tower. So even though you didn't really know what I meant by right, then when I say the flight control tower, there's really no doubt where I'm pointing at. Okay, that's pretty easy right there. What we're going to be talking about now is actions on, and that's actions on enemy. And first off, we're going to be actions on enemy engagements, which means if the enemy fires on us, what are we going to do? And you already know what we teach you from mail course, right? Can anyone tell me what that is? Whiplash.
Call out the contact and give suppressive fire.
Yes, form line, suppressive fire, and call out that contact. You tell your team leader, I see 2 times infantry to the right, near. Yeah, Pablo.
If the enemies are firing at us, do we do that double tap and then hit the ground, or what's
That's up
the
to you.
SOP?
My Danish SOP is if the enemy is within 50 meters, then you do what you call double tap. You do quick and then find a firing position and then get the fuck down. Keep firing. Okay. But if you are engaged by an enemy farther away than 50 meters, then you're not going to get a real advantage of doing a fast fire. That's just going to waste time. You're just going to spend more time standing up and being easy for him to hit. So he's more than 50 meters away. You might as well just go, fuck, there's a fire position over here, and then run to that and take cover. Or if you want to maintain formation, then get down and then stay down and then suppress from there, in order to avoid getting yourself hit, because essentially that's the point. We don't want to die. Make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
So contacts within 50 meters, you engage. You might want to stand up and engage them, but otherwise just take cover first and then find out where they are. Yes. So you're right. The basic thing we do is form line, suppress fire, and then call out contacts. And remember to call what you see, not what you think there is. So if you think there's a platoon out there, you still call out the guys that you actually see. So if you see 3 guys, then you just call Fireteam minus or 3 times infantry. That's you don't have to. You shouldn't call anything else. And if you're not really sure if how many guys there are, then you call out by unit size. So if there's maybe 3 or 4 guys, then it's a Fireteam minus. If it's more than that, it's a squad minus. If it's more than a squad, then it's a squad plus, or platoon minus, and so forth. Okay. Makes it nice and fast, and just gives the platoon leader and squad leader an idea of what they're facing. Okay. The next thing, once we got that, the very first thing that has to happen is the team leader has to find out what he wants to do about it. He has 3 basic options. He can either go form a base of fire where he is, or move to a base of fire. That's his very first option, and that's the easy option. That's what happens 9% of the time when we're playing Arma. We get down into a fire position and we start shooting at the targets, trying to kill them that way. I'm just going to check my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything on that. Yeah, so base of fire is done if your element is in a position with in cover with line of sight to the enemy. So you don't do a base of fire in an open field, for instance. From this position, you can engage and suppress the enemy, which allows another element, another fire team or another squad, to maneuver onto the enemy and kill him that way. This is the most common reaction, and it's most likely to avoid casualties for you and kill more enemies. But it's not always the answer to a situation. But it's that's your most basic reaction. That's what we do when we form line and start firing. Then we have essentially set up a fast base of fire. it might, and then we have, and the team leader needs to know, okay, is this a good position? Am I safe here, or will I die? Because if it's not, then I need to either go